Welcome back, everyone. It's time for another installment, another episode of what I like to call the search for third party support on Nintendo Switch. What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I've got a very weird topic to talk about today, especially if you're a Dragon Quest fan hoping for some Nintendo Switch news. So, we all know that Square Enix, or well, Enix, way back in the day, have the long running series Dragon Quest, and it was announced in May of last year. Funny enough, before the actual Nintendo NX was revealed to be the Switch, it was announced as the first officially confirmed game to be, well, going to be released on Nintendo Switch, despite Nintendo Switch not even existing at the time, just being NX. So that's all well and good, and of course, as time has gone by, people found out that there's going to be a Switch version, there's going to be a Nintendo 3DS version, and there's going to be a PlayStation 4 version. As it stands right now, as I'm making this video, is the 28th of July 2017. So technically, right now, as we speak, the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo 3DS versions are actually out right now in Japan. There's currently no Western release date because there's no actual localization, which we'll get to in a minute. But the point is, right now, as it stands, yes, there was the official announcement of the three platforms back in May of last year, but since then, absolutely everything has gone completely dark on the Nintendo Switch version. The Nintendo 3DS version is coming out. It's actually technically already out because of the time difference here in Japan. And the PlayStation 4 version is the same way. That's already out, available right now in Japan. Now, where does that leave the Nintendo Switch? Well, like I said, there is no news whatsoever in the year-ish that we've actually first heard about it. And they just said, yes, it's coming. Don't ask, no questions, blah blah blah, adult reasons. So that was kind of strange. The thing that makes it even more strange is that today, again, the 28th of July 2017, Square Enix made an official announcement that the Dragon Quest XI, the full title being Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age, has officially entered the process of localization for the West, which means it's going to be translated to release in Western markets. Now, they haven't said how it's going to be released, what platforms it's going to be released on, if it's going to be physical or digital, but to be honest, with how Square Enix have been doing all this, I think I'm 99.9% sure we'll see a physical version on PS4, we'll see a physical version on Nintendo 3DS, but where does that leave the Switch version? Because when they announced the localization today, they didn't talk platforms whatsoever. They literally just said, it's being localized for the West. So that's it. Now, these are usually pretty big games. They're pretty big JRPGs. So in the sense, it's going to take a while. I wouldn't expect to see this on any platform in the West before I'd say the second half of next year. So the second half of 2018 at the earliest is my own personal guess. But that brings us all back to the whole weird situation. What's up with the Nintendo Switch version? First off, it's not even out in Japan or right now as it stands. The other two versions are on sale right now, but the Nintendo Switch version is completely dark, has no info, no release date, no anything, just confirmed that there is a Nintendo Switch version and it will be coming at some point. And now with this new announcement that they're shifting focus, or at least they're shifting some of their focus to localization for Western markets, still, assuming we'll most likely have the PS4 and Nintendo 3DS versions, where does that leave the Switch version for not just Japan, but where does that leave the Switch version for Europe and for America? Because we all know, not just Square Enix, but they are guilty of this too, that the Nintendo Switch is struggling for third-party support, and it's struggling for high-end third-party support, because you have a lot of companies that are releasing cut-down version of their games, gimped version of their games, just not releasing their high-profile games and just giving small, low-quality spin-offs or small, no-name spin-offs, and you've got some companies that are just completely ignoring the platform entirely. So that's a struggle for Nintendo Switch, and it's a struggle that Nintendo needs to try harder to work around. Nintendo needs to go to these companies and not just do what they used to do and say, oh, let these companies come to us. Because they don't. They don't need you, Nintendo, but you need them. And as Nintendo gamers and people who play on Nintendo Switch, it benefits you and it benefits us to have a wide variety of games on the actual platform, be it JRPGs, preferably high profile ones as well as smaller ones and indie ones too. So get off your arse, Japan, and do this. So I don't know where this leaves it. What do you think we're going to see with the whole Nintendo Switch thing? Not just with the third-party support, but I mean specifically with the Switch version of Dragon Quest XI. Because, as I mentioned, Square Enix they've no plans to bring Final Fantasy 15 to Nintendo Switch. I don't think it would ever even run on it, as the developer, the actual director, Hajime Tabata, has previously said. They have said that there's probably no plans for Kingdom Hearts 3 to ever come to Switch because it's not on the cards right now, and if it ever does happen, it will be years down the line. Personally, I don't think it'll ever see a release on Nintendo Switch. So you see what I mean? They're already not putting some of their high-profile games on there. Final Fantasy is obviously their biggest series. Granted, Dragon Quest is much bigger in Japan the last couple of years. Well, not just the last couple of years, but just in general. And when you look at all of that, like they're not releasing their high-profile Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, blah blah blah. You're getting games like Project Octopath Traveler, something that looks like a arguable high-end 3DS game, if not a Vita game. It doesn't look like it needs to be Nintendo Switch. You've got stuff like I Am Setsuna. You've got the new game from the same studio. I can't pronounce it, but just for the sake of it, we call it Lost Sphere. It's probably not how it's pronounced, but it's a weird name given Square Enix, you know. So what's the deal now that they're going to be doing this and the Switch version is just currently MIA, confirmed to exist, confirmed to be coming, but completely dark and MIA, which is worrying in many ways if you ask me. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about, what do you think this means for the possible Nintendo Switch version in both the Japanese market and the Western markets. Do you think it will eventually be cancelled? Do you think it will be cut down and crap in comparison? Or what do you think is this foreboding or foreshadowing of how Square Enix views to support the Nintendo Switch with their current games? Because I've already mentioned stuff like Kingdom Hearts, Octopath Traveler, blah blah blah, Final Fantasy. So you see what I mean. There's basis behind it. Let me know all that anyway in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.